guys, Ben here and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing a Q&A video to do with the Arrowverse, and we'll be breaking down some of the questions and theories that you guys have proposed to me on my YouTube channel. If you want to be featured in a future Q&A video to do with the Arrowverse or DCTV or DC in general, please be sure to go over to my channel, click on the community tab, and on the latest post you can leave a comment which can be a theory, it can be a question for me, something for me to answer in a Q&A video. So yeah, go ahead and do that. But for now, let's go ahead and get into today's main questions. So the first question comes from Ambrose Rao. This is actually to do with The Flash, and Ambrose asks, what episode of The Flash convinced you that Grant Gustin is the best Flash? Or what episode changed your life? So I like this because obviously this is a bit more personal and it's not like me theorizing about anything. So I want to hear your thoughts down below. For those of you guys watching this video, what episode convinced you that Grant Gustin is the best Flash, and what episode changed your life? For me, I've always loved the Zoom episodes, you know, the two-part episode when we went to Earth 2 for the first time. That was one of the greatest episodes that we've ever had on The Flash, so I always stick by those episodes. But really, what episode really convinced me that Grant is amazing Flash, and that he is the best? Probably the times that he's gone back to see his mum. Like, that has been the best scenes that we've ever got on the show. That was the reason why it was so good. Episode 10 of this season, when we went back to that night, because I feel like Grant is always at his best as Barry, but also as the Flash, because he's having to deal with Reverse Flash, but also dealing with the pure emotion of seeing his mum dead on the ground, or just prior to her death. So I guess for me, it was just seeing, you know, the first time in the pilot episode when he says, "My name's Barry Allen," and he does the intro, but then it moves on to the night that his mum was killed, and you see the lightning going around and you see a version of Barry going, "Stop." But what really convinced me was when we went back there later on at the end of the season, when he went back for the first time in the season finale. So that's my answer for that. Let me know your answer down in the comments below. But let's go ahead and move on to the next question. This comes from Rafaro Jr. on YouTube, who asks, what's your thoughts on if Supergirl or any other Arrowverse character would have returned to The Flash Season 9, and what your overall thoughts on the Trinity as a whole? So in regards to Steven, Grant and Melissa, they are amazing. You guys know that. I think they are absolute gold when it comes to the Arrowverse. They are the defining characters of the Arrowverse, and I think they've all played the characters so well on their own individual shows, but also most importantly in crossovers when you see them all together. I was actually watching a crossover on a plane recently. I watched Crisis on Infinite Earths. I watched a couple of episodes of it, and it just reminded me how much I loved their relationship and every time that they showed up together. But obviously it's a shame that we didn't get more time with them. And so if any of them return to The Flash Season 9 in its final season, obviously it's ended now, I would have loved to have seen Supergirl. So obviously it was amazing that we had Stephen Amell returning as Green Arrow, and quite honestly that was more than enough for me for The Flash. However, I would have loved to see Tyler show up as Superman, obviously the Superman Lois version, because he is awesome, as well as Melissa's Supergirl. But I don't think it would have ever happened because, you know, Melissa's busy, and it's only been like a year or so, like nearly 2 years now since Supergirl finished. So it definitely hasn't kind of fully set in, and I guess she's kind of just focusing in on her next project. So I was never expecting Melissa to come back for The Flash Season 9, but it was a shame that we didn't get, you know, Tyler showing up as Superman, because I did like that relationship in Crisis and the other crossovers between Superman and Green Arrow, as well as The Flash, of course, because, you know, they were awesome together every time that they showed up, and I don't think they showed up enough times together. So yeah, I don't believe that anything was planned behind the scenes. Yes, maybe they asked them, however, you know, they got the main one that they were going after, and that was Arrow, so that they could kind of end the Arrowverse with The Flash Season 9. However, we have the news that Superman Lois is continuing, so that's super exciting for us Arrowverse fans, because that is an Arrowverse show after all, because Tyler originated his Superman on Supergirl. Obviously the Superman Lois version is a different version of the character, but nevertheless it's great to see Superman Lois continue. Let's move on to the next question. This comes from Maya Dean on YouTube, who asks, do you think we are getting spin-offs bouncing off of the Flash TV show? Well, if you watch the Flash series finale, you would think that the ending is setting up the future and setting up a potential spin-off. I think if it was in any other year, this would have been a spin-off. However, with the state of the CW right now, I don't see them greenlighting any sort of spin-off from a superhero show because it's so expensive. I mean, they've had to do a lot of cuts even to get Superman and Lois back for season 4, and it's going to be 10 episodes. There's going to be less series regulars, probably like half the amount. They had 12 before, probably going to be like 5-6 series regulars now, so they're clearly trying to cut back on the costs where they can, and by adding a Flash show, that would be, again, expensive. Yes, probably a little bit less than Superman and Lois, just based on the quality of the Flash overall. I think they can go a little bit lower, but normally you would say, okay, that ending was definitely teasing a potential spin-off with all these other speedsters, right? You had Max Mercury, you had Jess Chambers, you had Avery Ho. Like, they've been teasing Avery for a while. We've teased Max Mercury before, and now it's finally happened, but nothing's gonna come of it. So yeah, normally I think we would have got a spin-off back in the Arrowverse's heyday, you know, maybe like 2017, 2018, we would have got the go-ahead for another Flash show. And I think it's a shame that they didn't, you know, strike the trigger and get another Flash show in there at some point, you know, just like they did when Superman and Lois was announced that they would do a spin-off off of Supergirl and it would come out, and thankfully for Superman and Lois it came at the right time, and it's a really good show, so it stood out on its own, and now people don't even relate it to Supergirl. They don't even remember that Superman originated from the Supergirl TV show. So yeah, I think in terms of this Flash TV show, could it happen? Yeah, it could happen totally if Max is interested in doing some Elseworld shows with DC Studios, but I don't know how likely it is because it's not like Grant Gustin is going to be starring in the show, and I guess the only potential factors that would be beneficial would be if like Jessica Parker Kennedy or Jordan Fisher showed up, or John Wesley Shipp, because those are familiar faces. The new speedsters that are introduced are completely new. We've never seen the actors before, we've never seen the characters before, apart from Avery Ho that one time with Bart Allen, and so it would make sense for them to make it orientated around Nora and Bart. I've been saying that for a long time. That would be my spin-off show, a Flash family show, and that's literally what they set up with this ending, and especially that link between Avery and Bart, that would give them an excuse to bring them all in together. And so yeah, we can hold out hope for the future, but I think right now that's not going to be an option, just based on what the CW is doing and the fact that they are really trying to cut back on their costs. So that's one potential spin-off. Obviously there could be other Flash spin-offs if they wanted to explore other avenues, but right now I'm gonna say it's unlikely to be happening in the next like couple of years, maybe like 3 years down the line or something. We could get another Flash show. And it could also be a Flash DCEU show where it's like maybe not about Ezra's Flash because Ezra's super controversial, but it could be another Flash like a Wally West in the DCEU. I would be totally down for that, and I would be making videos about that. Like, I would be ready to watch a Flash show even if it wasn't set in the Arrowverse. Okay, so let's move on to the last question. This comes from Lolzim on YouTube, who asks, any crossover with Superman and Lois would be nice. So yeah, I think with Superman and Lois being confirmed for season 4, there is definitely the potential. Even recently, the showrunner of Superman and Lois, Todd Helbing, actually mentioned now that the Arrowverse is technically over, it's going to be supposedly easier for them to do crossovers. However, we have to take into account that they've now only got 10 episodes, that's 3 episodes less than before. That means, you know, they're going to have to spend a lot of time on their main story for season 4. So how likely do I think there's going to be a crossover in Superman and Lois? Probably not super likely. However, it's right, they can take any of those characters now, and hopefully some of those actors are free and they can bring them into Superman and Lois. I would like to see John Diggle again, that would be cool. We've seen him a lot in Superman and Lois's past. Todd Helbing also teased he would love to see Grant show up in the show, obviously as the Flash or a different version of Barry. That could happen at some point if it continues. I feel like it's really dependent on if Superman and Lois gets to season 5, because I feel like season 4 just has to be like a really good season to convince the CW to continue for another season. But I like that they've been talking about crossovers, and I like that they're open to it, even if it's not like our characters we know from Earth Prime, but it's an alternate version of our characters. I would be down for that. But that pretty much does it for this video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to leave a like and a comment. It really helps out the channel. Also, go over to my community tab, as I said, if you want to be featured in the next Q&A video. Send in a topic, theory, or question, and if it's really good, I'll be sure to answer it in the next Q&A video that I do. I can do it sometime very soon. Also, live streams are going to be back. I'm going to be live streaming this Thursday, so come check it out. We'll be talking live about the Superman Lois renewal and the Gotham Knights cancellation, plus also the Flash film, which comes out today, which is super exciting. So for now, please be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications to not miss any future videos, and you can click on the top right corner of the screen to watch my latest video. But for now, I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.
I see red.